الآن السلام. السلام.
Have you started already the answer to the newspaper report?
Yes, we started last week.
Right. Where do you reach? Now, what were you saying before I came?
No, that's Imam Sahab was.
Different things. All right. Yes. I was speaking on the subject of an editorial. Is it an editorial?
Yes,
Published in Al Jamhuriya.
Special article at TPS, yes.
Special article.
Saudi Gazette.
That's right. So, I was telling you that the entire episode of the Gambia was completely distorted, out of shape. And as it is typical of this editor, he excels in white lies while he is not a white man. See? The whole Gambian situation is so distorted that it's no longer recognizable. He thinks that I praised the Gambian president just to show off that he has turned in the favor of Ahmadiyyat while he had not. While he continued to behave as an anti-Ahmadiyya rabbit, as it is expressed, I still went on praising him. It is not so. This president of the Gambia, Mr. Jammeh, is basically not straight. He was crooked in the beginning, he is still behaving in the same manner, but within that crookedness there was a phase where he openly praised Ahmadiyyat and publicly condemned the mullah, whose picture is also given here, whose name is what?
Imam Fateh.
Fateh. It's called Imam Fateh. So I'll tell you what happened and how it happened. It's the fact that we continue to send a message of mubahala to Imam Fateh on the plea that this mubahala is not against the country. This mubahala is only addressed to those who insist that Jamaat Ahmadiyya believes in this and that, such beliefs as absolutely are horrifying to Ahmadiyyat. These so-called Ahmadiyya beliefs included that Hazrat Masih Maud had claimed to be a higher prophet than Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. These allegations included that we have invented a new religion. These allegations included that we have cancelled the Quranic teachings. And Hazrat Mirza Sahib, God forbid, has claimed to be a new prophet in the world. He has cancelled Islam, practically. And all these things and many others were alleged against Ahmadiyyat and are still being alleged in this, the so-called anti-Ahmadiyya Muslim literature by the mullahs. And it's being widely published everywhere in the Arab world and in the Gambia, etc. Our plea was that we do not want government to choke the voice of this Imam at all. This is not our plea. Let him speak whatever he may. But these views should not be given an official backing, as though these were the views of the British government of Gambia. Moreover, we had claimed that if he speaks against an imaginary Ahmadiyyat, which is not our Ahmadiyyat, we should be given at least the equal right to deny all this and tell the people of the Gambia through the same means of televisions, etc., that he is condemning an Ahmadiyyat which we too condemn. These horrible views are not Ahmadiyya views. This is our views. Let him condemn them. And we shall answer them. But to make an imaginary figure of Ahmadiyyat and then try to demolish it, that is extremely stupid. So we repeatedly told the people of the Gambia and this president that our Mawala is addressed to this issue only. If anyone, including you and your government officials, insists that these are the Ahmadiyya views and they are un-Islamic views, so we condemn Ahmadiyya, then we request you to make a signed statement that we still insist that these are Ahmadiyya views. While the Ahmadis reject these views as theirs. But we still insist. If you do that, then you'll be under the curse of God. If you attribute to us views which we do not possess, which we reject altogether, and you swear by God that these are their views, only then you are addressed in that Mawala, not otherwise. And it is only for you to say, to announce publicly that I stick to my position, that Ahmadis believe in this and that and that and that, and they are non-Islamic views and we are against them. In response, we will say, yes, we are against these views. There is no doubt about it. But if you insist they are ours, then Allah will punish you. Not the Gambia. Never, even once it was referred, this Mubarak was referred to the people of the Gambia and the country of the Gambia. Let him translate this much, and then I'll tell you about and why we drew my praise.
كنا قد بدأنا بفضل الله في الأسبوع الماضي تعليق حالة المؤمنين على أحد الصحفيين وهي جريدة صدرت في المملكة العربية السعودية باللغة الإنجليزية تحت اسم دي سعودي جازيت، والصحفي هذا يبدو أنه ليس عربيا، وكتب وفي الحقيقة تخصص في الكتابة ضد عقائد أو ضد الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، ويعلق حضرة أمير المؤمنين عنه ويقول أن هذا الصحفي يبدو أنه تخصص في الكذب الأبيض مع أنه ليس برجل أبيض. ويواصل حضرته ويقول النقطة التي أريد أن أوضحها في لقاء اليوم هو أن هذا الصحفي ينسب إلي أنني مدحت الرئيس الغامبي، ومع ذلك هذا الرئيس الغامبي كان مواظبا على قمع أفراد الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية في بلده، وينسب إلي أمور أنا لم أتفوه بها وأنا لا أقوم بمثل هذه الأمور في مثل هذه الحالات. ثم يقول حضرة المؤمنين ويوضح ويلقي الأضواء أكثر ويقول أن الرئيس الغامبي هذا ليس مستقيما في كثير من أفعاله، ولكن خلال حملته هذه الشنيعة قد مدح الأحمديين، أي هذا الرئيس بالرغم من أنه لا يريد أن يظهر مشاركته ومساندته لهذه الحملة الشنيعة ضد أفراد الجماعة في بلده، ولكن في نفس الوقت نراه أنه مدح أفراد الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية وأدان أفعال وأدان أقوال الإمام الفاتح هذا الإمام المرتزق الذي حاول ولا زال يحاول أن يشوه سمعة الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية. نرى أن في إحدى المناسبات الرئيس الغامبي قد غير وجهته ومدح أفراد الجماعة وأدان أفعال هذا الإمام المخرب. يقول حاتم المؤمنين هذه هي النقطة التي يحرفونها وهذه هي الحقائق التي يحرفها هذا الصحافي وغيره. ويقول حاتم المؤمنين سأوضح لكم جميع هذه النقاط، وهي أننا أرسلنا دعوة المباهلة أو تحدينا بدعوة المباهلة هذه للإمام الفاتح هذه الذي شن حملته الشنيعة ضد الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية. ودعوة المباهلة هذه لم تكن موجهة لأفراد الشعب الغامبي الذي له علاقة وطيدة وجيدة جدا بالجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، ولكن نؤكد هنا أن دعوة المباهلة أو تحدي المباهلة هذا كان للإمام فاتح هذا وبقية الناس من أمثاله. ثم يواصل حضرة أمير المؤمنين ويذكرنا بالخلفية وراء دعوة المباهلة هذه، ويقول أنه منذ القديم قد نسب للجماعة الإسلامية العقائد هي بريئة كل براءة منها، وذكر حضرته على سبيل المثال ويقولون أننا نؤمن بأن حضرة ميرزا غلام أحمد القادياني له مكانة روحانية أعلى بكثير من مكانة سيدنا محمد المصطفى صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. نحن لا نعتقد بهذه الأمور الواهية ومع ذلك ينسبونها إلينا. وأيضا من أكاذيبهم يقولون أننا اخترعنا دينا جديدا ونسخنا القرآن ولا نهتم بالقرآن ولنا شريعة وكتاب خاصين بنا، وأيضا أننا قد نسخنا الدين الإسلامي وأحضرنا دين جديد، أي مؤسس الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية قد نسخ تماما الدين الإسلامي وتعاليمه وأحضر دينا جديدا. وهذه في الحقيقة قائمة طويلة وعريضة من هذه الأكاذيب التي ينسبونها إلى الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، والجماعة تريد دائما أن تبرئ ساحتها وتتبرأ من هذه الأكاذيب. فما هو الحل في هذا الظروف؟ تعلمنا من محمد المصطفى صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أن الشخص الذي يمثل السلطة الروحية في مثل هذه الظروف كآخر وسيلة لإقناع الطرف المقابل هو أن يدعوهم للمباهلة هذه كي يبتهل الطرفين لله سبحانه وتعالى، كي يظهر على الملأ من هو الصادق ومن هو الشخص التابع لزمرة الله سبحانه وتعالى ومن هو الكاذب. وهذا فعلا ما فعله حضرة أمير المؤمنين، وقال نحن في الحقيقة من خلال دعوة المباهلة هذه ومن خلال اتصالاتنا بالحكومة الغامبية لم نضع على الحكومة الغامبية ضغوط ولم نتوسل إليها لإغلاق فم هذا الإمام، إذ هذه الأعمال ليست من عاداتنا. ولكن يقول حضرته نحن طلبنا معرفة موقف الحكومة مما يقوله هذا الإمام، هل هم يؤيدونه أو هم يدينون أعماله هذه وما ينسبه من عقائد خاطئة إلى الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية. وأيضا طلبنا من الحكومة الغامبية أن تعطينا فرصة أيضا ونظهر على وسائل إعلامها من راديو وتلفزيون وجرائد ونعرف الناس بعقيدتنا الصحيحة، العقيدة التي نعلنها دائما، ولا العقيدة المشوهة والكاذبة والواهية الذي ينسبها هذا الإمام الذي اسمه الإمام فاتح. فيقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين هذا في الحقيقة هذه الخلفية وهذا ما طلبناه من الحكومة الغامبية. لم نطلب منه إغلاق هذا فم هذا الإمام أو خلعه من منصبه مثل ما تعودتم أن تروا هذه الأمور تحدث على الساحة السياسية وغيرها. لا، نحن كل ما طلبنا منه أن يعطونا فرصة لتبرير موقفنا لا أكثر ولا أقل ويسمعوا منا مباشرة عن عقائدنا. ويقول حضرة ابن منين أن هذا الإمام الفاتح هو يخترع أحمدية خيالية ويعرضها أمام الناس وفي نفس الوقت يمحقها بنفسه. ونحن أيضا يقول حضرة ابن منين نحن ندين هذه الأحمدية الخيالية التي اخترعها هذا الإمام، وكل ما طلبناه من الرئيس الغامبي ومن حكومته أن يفسحوا لنا المجال للتعريف بعقيدتنا الصحيحة. يقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين أن لما الظروف تكون مثل في هذه الحالة ويسر مثل هذا الإمام الفاتح وأيضا يسر معه مجموعة من وزراء أو مجموعة من أولئك الذين لهم السلطة السياسية، فإصرارهم ذلك هو معناه أنهم ينسبون إلينا عقيدة نحن دائما نحاول أن نتبرأ منها ودائما نعلن على العلن أن هذه العقيدة لم نتفوه بها. ففي مثل هذه الظروف نحن نتبرأ من شيء وهم ينسبونه لنا بالقوة، فالوسيلة الأخيرة هي أن نحول هذه القضية إلى محكمة العدل الإلهية والله سبحانه وتعالى سيصدر فيها قراره النهائي والقويم في آخر الأمر.
Now, this President Jammeh has an associated by the name of Mr. Bojing, who is the Minister of Religion as well as who was the Minister of Religion, no more so. but who was also holding the portfolio of Interior Ministry. They have been at one throughout. Now, it was Mr. Bojing who promoted the tour of Mr. Fateh, the President Fateh, I should say, and they took along Imam Fateh with them. Throughout, he has been the key-pin in the whole drama. But Imam Fateh, in fact, is nobody. He was just used as a mullah. The real understanding was between Mr. Bojing and the President. So they went on hand in hand. They, in the beginning, took the strong plea that the mullah should be permitted to do whatever he likes and all his propaganda should be televised. So the public of the Gambia will receive the impression that the President has permitted him to do so, so these are his views. At that, we did two things. Number one, we insisted that Imam Fateh should accept the Mubahala as we have proposed, not as he is imagining that he has accepted the Mubahala. He should make a statement insisting that these are the Ahmadiyya views, these are Ahmadiyya doctrines, and if not, that Allah may curse him. That was one line of action. The second was that we repeatedly wrote to the President and this Minister Bojang that this is happening in your country, and if you do not raise a voice against this, then you will be understood to be involved in this. And at the same time, we let the rest of Africa know what was happening in the Gambia. The Ghana, Nigeria, every other African country were informed that here is the case of the Gambia. Either you should demand that they should get out of Africa and become a part of Saudi Arabia or Pakistan if they like. But together with their extremist religious stance, they cannot be permitted to remain a part of Africa which is secular. And on this secularism of Africa, there is no compromise. So choose between the two. Either be secular or get out of Africa. This was done in such powerful way that leading newspapers of West African countries wrote articles addressing Sadr Jame. This is a choice for you. And also foreign governments who were their mentors, like Canadian government, etc., they also made it known to Mr. Jame that there is no way of running a government. Choose between the two things. And then, of course, we should continue to help you, but knowing what you are. So he, at that pressure, he succumbed. And he made a public statement which was publicized in newspapers and televised and broadcast on all radio. The statement was made by the Secretary General in the name of a cabinet decision. It said that the cabinet, which was attended also by the President, has decided that Ahmadis are West Muslims. No one who will call Ahmadi a non-Muslim will escape our punishment. The government of Gambia has decided to support Ahmadiyya fully. Whatever they do in the name of Ahmadiyya, what they propagate and this and that, we fully endorse that. And we warn Imam Fateh that he is a filthy-mouthed person. Whatever he has said against Ahmadiyyat, the government has nothing to do with it. But now we issue a warning to him that he will never be allowed to say a single word against Ahmadiyyat, either from the State House Mosque or from any other forum. If this man does it, he will not escape punishment. Now, this was a statement at which I praise, of course. I said, thank you, Mr. Imam, Mr. President Jame. This is a very good statement. Although we do not need your help, Ahmadiyyat does not require any help from the government. But I must say that this is a clear pronouncement telling the whole world where you stand. Now, can anyone say it was wrong of me to have praised him for this? But he was not straight even that. He was smarting under the wound of Ahmadiyyat standing against, confronting him and making him bow to the, which should have been the right position, which said, I still do not believe I am a straight person. But this statement was publicized, televised, and telecast everywhere. After this, we received a letter from the Secretary of State, which said, it inquired, asked the Amir to come to meet him. And he will hand him over the decision of the cabinet. That decision was absolutely different from what was publicized. This private information handed over to our Amir was that Ahmadis are only permitted to come back if so and so the principle they had, they come back, but they make a vow that they will not propagate Ahmadiyyat in any capacity. The staff, if it comes, the missionaries are not allowed anyway. Even the non-missionary staff will have to vow that they will not propagate Ahmadiyyat, their religion, and this and that. So we wrote to them. We said, all right, we want the doctors, the missionaries, the heads of the departments to return to the Gambia to serve your cause. We do it because the people of the Gambia are crying for them. It's not a party reaction. From both sides, from the opposition and from the government side, the people of the Gambia are loudly criticizing the government, the act of the government, and they want them back. And they're suffering. So only in view of their suffering, I have decided that they should return, but not on your conditions. So either you make a public statement that all that was announced in the name of the cabinet was sheer rubbish. It was not cabinet decision. The cabinet decision was to continue with the same policy of anti-Ahmadiyya. And if you make an announcement, then I will think of sending them back, because at least you will have straightened the facts. No answer. Repeatedly you are demanded. I said, please, what's your decision? No answer. And no change in their policy of obstructing the passage of Ahmadiyyas as previously Ahmadis used to work in the country. So having waited and waited and waited, sending repeated reminders, I at last told the President that although I withdraw all my demands, I do not want your government to be embarrassed by declaring that our cabinet decision as announced was sheer rubbish. Don't condemn yourself. But we will not return on your terms. Rest of the West Africa has received Ahmadis with open arms, and they have not imposed any condition on their working. So my only demand is that do not support Ahmadiyas, but do not impose any condition on Ahmadi workers which has not been imposed by the rest of Africa. That's all. And no answer. Still, this is the position. The public stance of the government is exactly what I have told. The hidden, secret stance of the government is this, what I tell you. Now, when we warned that if you do not accept even this plea by Ahmadis, that you should permit us on the same terms as West Africa accepts us, or we shall not return. Because they had not answered, but they were embarrassed by the mounting pressure. So Mr. Jame recently toured Gambia. And what he said, I'll say after this translation, please. We have time.
Yes. نواصل تعليق قادة بن المؤمنين حول الرئيس الغامبي هذا. أوكي. يستأذن حضرته وسيرجع إن شاء الله خلال بضع دقائق وأمام الناس. هكذا حضر حضرته مرة أخرى. ويواصل حضرته ويقول نحن لا نطلب منك أن تناصر الأحمدية، ولكن أيضا لا نطلب منك أن يعني تعطينا ميزات وأشياء لا نستحقها، ولكن كل ما طلبنا منه هو أن يعاملنا بنفس الطريقة التي تعاملنا بها بقية الدول الإفريقية المجاورة.
Right.
Yes.
Now, this president has taken the plea now that he has imposed restrictions on Ahmadis only because of their misbehavior towards me. He said they misbehave towards me and towards the country Gambia because they challenged me that they'll pray against me and the Gambia. So how can I support a people who pray against my country? Now this is the plea he has taken to mislead the public opinion in the country as well as the foreign observers. Having said what I have told you, he said, what right had he got to make a volte-face and go back on whatever he had committed? So he has taken this plea, referring to the mubahala which was sent to him by Mr. Daud Hanif. My mubahalas was sent to him by Daud Hanif. He has distorted the message by declaring that this is a proof that we have turned against him and against the country. Now, in that mubahala, all that is said is, do not attribute to Ahmadiyyat what Ahmadiyyas do not believe. If you do it, and if you do it in the name of Allah, then we leave that to Allah. Then Allah will not punish the country, but those who do this. And it is up to him to take any decision. Now how could it be an insult to anybody? If I say don't attribute to me things which I don't believe in, I have every right to do so. And if somebody insists, I have a right to tell him, all right, this is a fight between you and God. That is what was said. Now he made a recent tour of the country and tried to mislead the public opinion himself by insisting, you want Ahmadis back? How can I have them back? When they didn't mention Ahmadi, the word Ahmadi. How can I have a people here who are praying constantly against my country? This is the man. So, what I have said, these are facts. Whatever else he has written, this man, is rubbish. That's all I want to say.
يقول حاتم المؤمنين أن الرئيس القام بهذا قد اتخذ قراره وقال أنه أصبحت له قضية خاصة مع الأحمديين الذين تحدوه بدعوة المباهلة القاسية هذه، ويبدو أنهم أصبحوا يدعون عليه بدعاء الشر كي يحطمه الله سبحانه وتعالى ويحطم أيضا دولته وحكومته وبلده. فيقول حاتم المؤمنين يبدو أنه غير الموازين وغير النقاط، خصوصا أن أحد الإخوة واسمه داود حنيف قد أرسل له دعوة مباهلة من حاتم المؤمنين، ولكن هو لم يفهم الرسالة الصحيحة، لأن في دعوة المباهلة هذه هو أن يعلن العقائد التي ينسبها رسميا إلى الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، والجماعة من جهة أخرى تتبرأ منه، فما عليه هو أن يعلن في وسائل إعلامه في بلده أنها هذه هي حسب ظني عقائد الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية، وبعد ذلك يستنزل عقاب الله على الطرف الكاذب. يقول حضرة المؤمنين نحن لا نشمئز من هذه العملية إذا وجهت إلينا، فلا أعرف كيف هؤلاء يشمئزون بالرغم من أنهم ينسبون إلينا هذه العقائد الكاذبة. ويقول حضرة المؤمنين قد تمسك الرئيس الغامبي بهذه الوثيقة وقال هذا هو الدليل أن هؤلاء يعني هذه الفرقة الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية قد تدعو ضدي وضد بلدي بالشر، ولهذا أصبحت لي قضية خاصة بهم. ويقول حضرة المؤمنين وأخيرا بدأ في حملة أخرى شنيعة، لأنه أحس من المواطنين أحس بنفورهم من أعماله هذه، وكما تعود على تغيير أفكار الرأي العام، ففي أحدى يعني الآن هو في زيارات تفقدية في مناطق وقرى وولايات مختلفة في بلده، ويطلب من الأهالي كيف تطلبون مني أن أسمح مرة أخرى بأفراد الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية بالرجوع إلى بلدكم، وهذا هو حالهم، هم يدعون عليكم بالشر من ناحية وأنتم تريدونهم أن يرجعوا لكم مرة أخرى. هذه هي الظروف وهذه هي النقاط التي تعود على تغيير حقائقها. شكرا على حسن المتابعة، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.